Let's get to the Eagles. Clock is ticking now 5 days. Obviously, you guys know the deal. We're awaiting Howie's moves. AJ, Goddard, Nakobe, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, players from the outside, all this stuff. This surprises. There's typically some surprises. Last year's slate was dumped around this time.
Saquon 2 years ago, remember?
Saquon brought in. So we all expect a lot one way or the other next week. Now let's drill down here at 215-592-9494. In part next week, in part the draft, in part the whole offseason, in part what's here and what will be here in September and beyond. I make a lot of great points on the show, that's obvious.
Clearly.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
And a lot of times
I missed that one.
Yeah. Just stuck that in. A lot of times, a lot of people don't want to hear him. Cite Carson, not that good. 2019, 2020. Hammer right. Jalen, not as good as you think he is. Hammer right.
Stop.
2025 Phils after losing to the Dodgers. Better than the 2025
no one cared.
Eagles.
What are you doing?
Hammer right.
I got a new one. You are
I
pretending
got a new one
that
for
what
you.
you're saying. You're twisting what you're saying.
I got a new one
to
for you.
Assure yourself
that
you feel better
Hammer,
about what you've said.
Hammer will beat
Doesn't
Fritz.
mean that you're right.
Hammer will beat Fritz in basketball. We'll find out in a couple weeks. All right, but here's a new one for you. And I believe it, and I'm curious if you do. Even if you don't want to hear it, I'm curious if you agree. Eagles are headed down. Eagles are headed down. And look, we know at some point it's inevitable. You play 100 seasons, you're not going to be elite every one. At some point, they're going to stink. At some point, they're going to be average. Here's where I'm at as they're about to embark on this whole free agency thing, AJ decisions, all this stuff. I think the Eagles are about to hit the land of the ordinary. I think they're going to be very average next year. And it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if they have a below-average record. They're going to have a first-place schedule. I think the rest of the division will be harder. I do expect Dallas and Johnson, the Washington team, will all be better than they had been. Like, my expectation as we sit here 5 days to free agency, decisions on Goddard, AJ, and all these dudes, my expectation, the Eagles miss the playoffs in 2026.
Now you're going way too
I'm
way too far.
This is ridiculous.
I'm curious.
I gotta put my foot down.
At 215-592-9494.
Put both feet down, John.
How
If you agree
can
or
we
disagree.
know what this team's even going to look
we
like
can't
at this
know,
point? But
but
it's
it's what
ridiculous
I
to
think.
say this team's going to miss the playoffs when we don't even know half the team. The team needs to be built. It has not been built yet. And that's part of what Howie is great at. So, okay, we have an elite core of veterans who are returning. We have real draft capital to add depth. This draft, it is critical. And
it is.
We need to retool. But we've got 8 picks right now, when you throw in the compensatories. Sure. And depending on how those compensatories go, you've got 4 or 5 picks in the top 100. So you've got a first rounder at 23 and then second rounder at 54 and then potentially a bunch clustered at the top there. So retool through the draft we know we need O-line help.
Yep.
That's the root of it all.
I agree with that.
If I think what could undermine us to where Joe is actually onto something here, if the offensive line plays as poorly as they did or worse, which is possible.
It's a major concern for
Chris
me, man.
Cooper, a guy who coached for 4 years in Minnesota and was not brought back. A guy who is young and inexperienced compared to the sage we let walk out.
Yep.
For that reason, it looks ugly. But again, this is what Howie does, and he's going to re-up to kick this all down the road, and that makes everything okay. And it really is an unbelievable business model. He's going to re-up guys like, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, guys with big contracts that will end up freeing everything else up for everyone else. The cap just went up over $300 million for the first time in NFL history, and we know that Howie somehow cheats the system. I was looking, do you realize what Devontae Smith counts against the cap for this year?
I do not know.
It's $10.7 million.
Yeah, it's a great number.
our biggest weapons offensively are manageably priced because of the way Howie designs these things. He's going to design more contracts with some of the big, defensive linemen this offseason, hopefully Nakobe Dean as well. And we're going to kick that down the road to the future, and we're going to rebuild this thing, retool this thing through the draft, through free agency, just like we always do. And we've got elite players on each level of that defense.
They're going to have AJ?
We've got Vic Fangio, and I don't think we'll have AJ.
I don't either.
That's fine. We might be better without AJ. I can't imagine this offense being worse than it was last year. It was so discombobulated in every way. Yeah. It was inappropriate. It was ill-prepared every week for what defenses gave us. So this season, I'm sure that's going to be better. This team, again, is in great hands. This team has yet to be built, and I'm excited to see where this goes. It's going to be some upheaval. It's going to look a lot different, especially, with some of these young guys having to play earlier than we would feel comfortable. Maybe on the O-line, maybe this year. But that doesn't mean the Eagles are a non-playoff team.
All right.
We are an elite organization, and we will remain elite.
So they're definitely an elite organization, but as the Chiefs showed last season, that doesn't mean you're always elite. It doesn't mean you always make the playoffs. Look, my thoughts as we sit here getting close to free agency is the Eagles are about to head down. I'm curious if you agree with that or disagree with that at 215-592-9494. Look, I hope we can all agree on this. I hope. Common sense would say this. At some point, they're not going to be, all that. At some point, right, they're going to hit a wall. And I just fear...
Howie tells us that's not necessarily true.
No, but history...
You can build for the future
history
while making the team excellent in the here and now, too. He's made his reputation on
that. John, it's not going to be forever. I mean, even the Roman Empire had an end. It might have taken 700 years to get there, but
yes,
they
in
had
football,
an end.
you've got chaos, you've got injury, you've got all sorts of things that can derail you. Yes. And when those things happen, it's possible we won't have a successful season.
Blinking red lights of concerns. The offensive line.
I see the offensive line as a concern.
No Stoutland.
Yes, I see the offensive line as a concern.
Trying to reinvent an offense.
I'm not going to say Chris Cooper fails before he even gets here.
But I'll say this. I don't think he's going to be as good as Stoutland.
I can agree that he is nowhere close to as experienced and educated in educating offensive linemen.
Who's Jalen throwing the ball to?
He's got Devontae Smith.
Nobody.
We have to figure that out. Why does it mean?
What does it matter?
Because we don't have him now that the player is poor. We don't have Dallas Goedert. We're gonna get a darn good tight end. I know that.
Oh, I don't know
We're gonna get probably another darn good tight end. Because two tight ends, Tiger personnel, that is important if you're gonna be stretch zoning it here and there. I do think it's possible. I've seen some mock drafts that are crazy, with the Eagles taking tight ends, multiple tight ends. But we need that position.
Look, I am curious at 215-592-9494 if you agree with me or not. Guys, I'm not saying I'm happy to be saying this. Why would I be happy saying this? I love the Eagles. I want to see them be great. I want to go another parade. At the very least, you want to have playoff games. I just tend to think.
So why would you say they don't have a chance before we even know what the team looks like?
I'm not saying they don't have a chance. I'm saying my gut feeling is they hit the land of the ordinary. I think they're going to be average. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. What I'm telling you is I see blinking red lights of things that concern me. I mean, Dickerson reportedly was considering retirement.
But I see those blinking red lights with every team in the NFL.
Well, but
every fan base is saying
the Bears center did just retire.
How about that?
27 years old.
27 after 5 seasons.
That was wild.
He's done.
All right, 215-592-9494.
Arizona Cardinals, bye-bye Kyler Murray.
Well,
what are their fans saying?
Yeah, good for them is what they're saying.
I don't think they're going to
half of them are saying good. The other half are saying, what the heck?
Where do you stand on this Eagles thing? Keep it real. They're going to stay really, really good? Or they're going to start heading down.